Israel conducts precise strike on Hamas leadership in Qatar, escalating regional tensions. Israeli forces have reportedly carried out a precise strike targeting Hamas leadership within Qatar. While details remain sparse, officials indicate this action aims to dismantle the militant group's command and control capabilities operating outside of Gaza. This development marks a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas, potentially broadening the geographic scope of the hostilities and drawing new international scrutiny. Qatar has previously played a role in mediating between the two sides, and this strike raises questions about the future of diplomatic efforts and the potential for wider regional destabilization. The international community is closely watching for official statements from both Israel and Qatar, and the implications for regional security are a major concern. Analysts suggest this bold move by Israel could have far-reaching consequences for diplomatic relations in the Middle East. Russian aerial bomb kills 24 civilians in brutally savage Ukrainian village attack. A devastating Russian aerial strike on a rural Ukrainian village has resulted in the deaths of at least 24 civilians, a tragedy that President Zelensky has condemned as brutally savage. This latest attack underscores the continued human cost of the conflict and highlights the indiscriminate nature of some military actions. Emergency services are on site, working to recover victims and provide aid to the injured. As the international community reacts with outrage, the incident is expected to intensify calls for further international intervention and support for Ukraine, as the nation grapples with the ongoing aggression and its profound impact on civilian populations. This unprovoked violence against civilians is a stark reminder of the brutality of war and further solidifies international condemnation of Russia's actions. Humanitarian organizations are mobilizing to provide essential support to the affected region. Supreme Court takes up fast-moving appeal over Trump's tariffs. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear arguments regarding President Trump's controversial Liberation Day tariffs. The court's decision to take up the expedited appeal comes amid ongoing economic concerns and international trade tensions. Legal experts note this could have far-reaching implications for presidential authority over trade policy. Michigan judge dismisses case against fake electors in 2020 election. A Michigan judge has dismissed the case against 15 individuals accused of being fake electors in the 2020 presidential election. The decision represents a setback for prosecutors who sought to hold these individuals accountable for allegedly attempting to subvert the election results. This ruling could have broader implications for similar cases in other states, and for the ongoing legal battles surrounding the 2020 election. Critics of the dismissal argue that it undermines efforts to protect democratic processes, while supporters maintain that it upholds due process and prevents politically motivated prosecutions. The legal intricacies of this case continue to fuel political debate and scrutiny, with many questioning the fairness and thoroughness of the judicial process in cases related to election integrity. Legal experts are divided on the long-term impact of this decision on future election challenges and the accountability of individuals involved in such efforts. Immigration enforcement intensifies in major cities. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, has conducted enforcement actions in Chicago resulting in 3 arrests. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. residents are protesting against the Trump administration's troop deployment to the city. Immigrant communities are increasingly relying on virtual sermons and home communion services amid the ongoing crackdown.
U.S. job growth weaker than previously reported, raising economic concerns. The U.S. economy's job growth figures have been significantly revised downwards, with 911,000 fewer jobs added than initially reported. This revision casts a shadow over recent positive economic indicators and suggests a potentially weaker labor market than previously understood. Economists are now re-evaluating their forecasts, and concerns are rising about the pace of economic recovery, and its impact on everyday Americans. The discrepancy between preliminary and revised figures highlights the volatility of economic data and the challenges in accurately assessing the nation's financial health. This news could influence upcoming monetary policy decisions and government spending plans as policymakers grapple with the true state of employment. Gold price hits another record high as U.S. rate cut expectations rise. Gold prices surged to unprecedented heights on Tuesday, breaking the $3,650 barrier for the first time in history as anticipation of a Federal Reserve rate cut this month fueled demand for the precious metal. The rally in gold comes amid growing expectations of an interest rate reduction from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Traders are pricing in an 89% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut at the Fed's upcoming meeting, according to CME Group's FedWatch tool. There is also a 10.6% probability of a more aggressive 50 basis point cut. Gold's price has more than doubled in the last 3 years, driven by an increase in geopolitical, economic, and trade risks, all of which have spurred demand for safe haven assets. Apple unveils iPhone 17 including first-ever iPhone Air. Apple unveiled the iPhone 17 lineup featuring the groundbreaking iPhone Air, the company's first-ever ultra-thin, lightweight smartphone design. The iPhone Air represents Apple's most significant design overhaul in years, featuring advanced materials and cutting-edge technology. The event also featured new Apple Watch models with advanced health monitoring capabilities. New brain map represents neuroscience breakthrough in understanding decision-making. Neuroscientists from 22 labs joined forces in an unprecedented international partnership to produce a landmark achievement, a neural map that shows activity across the entire brain during decision-making. The data, gathered from 139 mice, encompass activity from more than 600,000 neurons in 279 areas of the brain, about 95% of the brain in a mouse. This map is the first to provide a complete picture of what happens across the brain as a decision is made. They have created the largest dataset anyone has ever imagined at this scale, said Dr. Paul W. Glimcher, chair of the Department of Neuroscience and Physiology and director of the Neuroscience Institute at New York University's Grossman School of Medicine, of the researchers. Report finds high-tech efforts to save polar ice sheets are doomed to failure. A comprehensive scientific report has concluded that ambitious geoengineering projects aimed at saving Arctic and Antarctic ice sheets are ultimately doomed to failure. The study found that even the most ambitious technological interventions would fail to prevent catastrophic sea level rise, emphasizing that reducing greenhouse gas emissions remains the only viable solution.